Gee.
Good morning and welcome to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Welcome to the last day of November.
Yes, it's good to be back, Bill.
And Brittany's back in case you hadn't noticed.
Yes, I got back safely from
the
the
capital
craziness.
city, under the Gold Dome yesterday.
Oh, Atlanta, I will tell you, it has all the traffic you could ever want in your life. And more. Way
bumper to
more.
bumper at 80 miles an hour. Nothing like it.
80 miles an hour, try like 10, but you know,
well,
it's wonderful going into
Yeah, it sure is.
Atlanta.
As the late great Will Rogers said about New York one time, it'd be a nice place if they ever get it finished.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta,
but it's 38 degrees and mostly clear skies, so it feels like the end of November as well as we go into the real Christmas season.
Yes, which is you know what, the Capitol was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was all decorated for Christmas, and it was very interesting. You can see it was very pretty. You can see the press there.
That's a gorgeous building.
Yes. I will have to say it is, but I will tell you that the Utah State Capitol is insane. So I was actually kind of surprised when I went into this Capitol just because of how well, like, the Utah Capitol looks like a mini White House. Like, it's gorgeous, but
I haven't been there.
Yes, well, you should go sometime. It's beautiful.
So put it on the bucket list.
Yes, please do. But went up to the Capitol. That room is where they held the press conference. I did take video. However, it did not turn out because I don't know if you noticed, but that particular spot in the Capitol is a terrible place to have a press conference just because of the acoustics in there. So the video unfortunately did not turn out, but there was a lot of people that spoke at the press conference. Candace Taylor, who is the District 1 chairman, former gubernatorial candidate and Senate candidate from Baxley, Georgia. She was the first to speak, and she talked about the redistricting and talked about how it's related to the voter integrity that has been a fight here in Georgia since 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if they give up these seats, which I have a feeling they will, we're changing this in an election year. This is interfering in an election.
That's supposed to be against the law, too. You don't change those things in an election year. Just like when Brian Kemp was running for governor, he had to step down as Secretary of State. Yeah. And they still complain that he was rigging it anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not great, Bill. Again, they went into special session yesterday. Not sure what the outcome will be, but I'm pretty sure that the district maps were already drawn before they went in there.
No.
But yes.
No, you're such a cynic.
I know. Yeah. And the good news is they are in litigation as well, and they will go to the Supreme Court, and it will go to Justice Thomas. He is over our circuit, and he will kind of make that decision. He doesn't play into all of this race stuff, so I do think that there could be a favorable ruling, but I don't know why we would ever give in on the district maps.
The Republicans are always good at giving up seats. We're talking about up in our Congress now, where they're trying to get rid of what's the guy that they're trying to
Santos?
Santos, yeah. Keep wanting to say Soros, and no, that's right, no, not right, but Santos, and that would be giving up a Republican seat because probably a Democrat would be appointed or would win the next election there.
Yeah, and I mean, he was just elected. It's like, well, they elected him. I mean, you guys elected basically two dead people, so I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to keep reelecting Nancy Pelosi and the rest of that crowd, Hakeem Jeffries and others that are nothing more than communists.
I would actually like to know what percentage of the population actually votes in those elections, because I think that might be quite interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Well, and shame on the people who don't.
That's what I'm getting at.
If it would go out and change, and you get it, but sit around and complain. And say that things are just hunky-dory. No, that's not good.
No, and so get involved. I will tell you, Bill, hopefully you're able to come, but we are doing an ugly sweater Christmas party at the headquarters for the GOP on December 10th from 2 to 4.
Okay.
So we're hoping to get everyone out there. Our elected officials are going to be there.
Ugly sweaters. Yeah.
Yes, well, and the judges are Jesse Petrie, Representative Watson, and also Representative Ron Stevens have all agreed to be judges for this ugly sweater Christmas contest.
Talking.
Yes, and I think Senator Ben Watson, I believe his wife is also going to be helping him out. So it'll be a fun event. It should just be a good time for us to get together, enjoy some hot chocolate, some cookies, bring the kids, dress in a really ugly sweater, and just have some fun.
Well, you said the magic words: hot chocolate and cookies.
Yes, who doesn't love that? So we're also asking, if you can, to bring a toy to donate so that we can give those toys to kids that are less fortunate. I do believe that we're going to have more of that this year than we've seen in the past just because of Biden inflation.
Yeah. And of course, there are a lot of places around here, including Planet Fitness, are doing Toys for Tots. They've got the box there for the Marine Reserves. Always do that every year, and it is a wonderful, wonderful program. It started in 1949, I believe, by a Marine that saw the kids were not getting. I think in Los Angeles even.
Yeah,
back when it was a real city and run by real people.
Yeah. So make sure you come out to that.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
Going back to the Capitol, we had Senator Moore yesterday come out. He's been asking for a special session for over 3 months when it comes to the shenanigans that are going up in Fulton County with DA Fani Willis. And this is what he had to say yesterday.
Yeah.
Mr. President, thank you. I tell you what, for the last 3 months, I've been calling for a special session. The people in Northwest Georgia, they're going to be mighty excited today because we were in a special session. Mr. President, I called for a special session with such intensity that I was booted out of the majority caucus, now a free and independent agent sitting in the back. Mr. President, it's very disgruntling to me that I call for a special session for 3 months, and that we come to this special session and the proclamation that the governor has given us does nothing to address the concerns that millions of Georgians have in our current state of affairs. You see, Mr. President, people in Northwest Georgia, they don't like thieves. And in 2020, people in my district believe the election was stolen. They're upset that the governor took 19 days to certify the election results, and if it takes that long, then how can you protest when other people agree that maybe the election was stolen? Mr. President, it's one thing to have a difference of opinion of whether an election was stolen or not, but we're in a much darker side of politics now in our state. Because now if you disagree with the political ruling class, you can be held political prisoner. And right now we have a former president and 18 others, even a member of this body, who are facing the rest of their life in prison for questioning an election. Mr. President, we have God-given rights, given to us by God. It's protected by the First Amendment. But Mr. President, the biggest constitutional crisis that our country has ever seen, as the entire world watches our state, we find ourselves in special session and nothing can be done by order of the governor to address these concerns. I was refreshed to hear your pastor, Mr. President, talk about a breath of fresh air, because I think this Senate, I think the Georgia legislature has become stagnant. You know, there's no moderation when we rubber stamp things. Mr. President, I pray for this Senate. I pray for this legislature, because we are in a dark time in our society and in our state. Mr. President, if there is injustice in a map, while there's been a primal call for a special session, a Democrat-appointed judge can say special session, and by George, we got one. But Mr. President, if our maps are racist, then let's bring justice to our maps. But let's also bring justice to a stolen election. Let's also bring justice to the 19 individuals who are facing the rest of their life in prison. And I yield back, Mr. President. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Yes, I think Senator Colton Moore, I believe he's either 29 or 30. He's a very young guy, but he's wise beyond his years. I do think it's interesting that the commission actually didn't work out the way that we were told it was going to. So wonder if they will do anything about Fani Willis, or if she will be allowed to continue her reign over this sham trials against these 18 people.
And where does she get this authority in the first place to come up with all of this stuff? And that they've got one charge that they've broken down into like 29 different charges.
Yeah, well, one of the other things that could actually be interesting is if the legislature actually took up a new law that said you cannot use RICO charges in political prosecutions. Mm-hmm. So if they did that, that would end everything that was going on in Fulton County immediately. So just a thought, just something interesting to think about.
Don't hold your breath, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But call your Republican representatives. Here's the thing. I do think that they listen. I think that they also look at what there is to gain from something and what there is to lose. And I will say I'm disappointed in a lot of the voting records that I see, but the more people that are offering their opinion and what they want from our representatives, I think the better off we're going to be. So I think having a relationship with your representatives is super important. So I encourage you to do that.
Check it out.
Yes. So.
But thank you for going up there yesterday and checking things out. And I think it's important for people to get involved, because anybody could go.
Yep, you just have to go through a screening through security at the Capitol, but it's fairly easy to get in, and you can walk around. It's a beautiful building, and the representatives. There was a lot of hustle and bustle. I was up there this summer for something else, and they were not in session, so it wasn't as busy, but it was kind of fun to go up there and see all the hustle and bustle going on, and there's a lot of energy. So I think that was good. The other thing is the Paper Please movement was up there yesterday as well. Talked about it in the press conference. They actually had some Democrat representatives that agreed that we should go back to paper, and they don't like these machines. So it was an interesting day.
At least got the debate rolling.
Yes.
Anyway, we lost a prominent citizen yesterday. Henry Kissinger passed away at the age of 100.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
American diplomat and Nobel Peace Prize winner Henry Kissinger died Wednesday at his home in Connecticut. He was 100 years old. Kissinger was active late in life. He recently published a book on leadership styles, and earlier this year visited Beijing to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping. Kissinger was born in Germany in 1923 and moved to the United States with his family in his teens before the Holocaust. Kissinger earned his doctorate from Harvard University in '54 and remained on the faculty there for the next 17 years, during which he regularly consulted government agencies on diplomatic affairs. Republican President Richard Nixon first brought Kissinger to the White House as a national security advisor and later named him Secretary of State. Kissinger had a hand in many global events in the 70s, including the U.S. withdrawal from Vietnam, a long and bloody process punctuated by massive U.S. bombing of North Vietnam and Cambodia. Kissinger's 1973 Peace Prize was one of the most controversial ever, with 2 members of the Nobel Committee resigning over the selection when questions arose about the U.S.'s secret bombing campaigns in Southeast Asia. Kissinger's diplomatic efforts led to the opening of China, landmark U.S.-Soviet arms control talks, and expanded ties between Israel and its Arab neighbors. He became famous for his highly personal, high-pressure brand of shuttle diplomacy, and was widely hailed for his brilliance and broad experience. Others branded Kissinger a war criminal for his support of anti-communist dictatorships, especially in Latin America. Kissinger's days in the suites of power largely came to an end with the election of Democrat Jimmy Carter in 1976. After leaving government, Kissinger set up a consulting firm in New York, which offered advice to the world's corporate elite. He served on company boards and various foreign policy and security forums, wrote books, and became a regular media commentator on international affairs. Kissinger is survived by his second wife, Nancy, and 2 children from his first marriage.
So, had a huge influence on a lot of our foreign policy.
Sure did.
I definitely did not agree with him. I think that he also did a lot of bad things. You know,
Wasn't a
but-
big fan, but he certainly was big on the world stage.
Yes, and Lizzie Warren says people in Southeast Georgia don't like thieves either, and that was in reference to Colton Moore's comments. And Steve Statton Sr. says, I support Colton's campaign on a regular basis. Thank you, Steve.
Way to go, Steve.
And Steve Statton Sr. Called it first, which is that he was a founding globalist, that Henry Kissinger. So, you know, Bill, you look at how we've gotten here, and I think that this man probably played a big role in helping push along us being involved in this globalist agenda.
Yeah.
And
Too much crap.
yes. Yeah. Well, and I also think it's interesting when you look at Nixon, and I thought that Nixon probably was one of the most interesting presidents we had because he was dynamic in a way that we haven't seen in other presidents. He was a visionary, but he also could actually execute his vision. So, I mean...
That's why the press wanted to get rid of him.
Yeah, but he surrounded himself with people that probably...
Kind of like Lincoln.
Well,
he got...
And Trump.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what? You guys are such, like, good business people, and you understand different things, but why do you surround yourself with these horrible human beings? But maybe they're the only ones that can hang in those type of environments because politics it's ugly. Yeah. So
there's a great book on Lincoln about how he surrounded himself with people that didn't agree with him all the time. He didn't want a yes man, and and most of the time he didn't get one.
Well, I think that's one thing, but when people are kind of more of in the evil category,
well,
yeah, I think that there's a little bit of a difference.
He could sniff those out too.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, coming up next, we're going to be talking about what's going on in the airline world. Jay Ratliff, aviation analyst and expert, is on deck. Stick around. Stay real. Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
What happened?
Well, when you opened up the Chewy box, you went a bit...
Bonkers. That's one word for it.
I guess I blacked out. This is the best squeaky toy ever.
Probably shouldn't, but we did get you a few more gifts.
Honey.
Ooh, there's more.
Chewy's prices were so great.
You don't need to explain yourself, Linda. Keep on saving.
Pets aren't just pets. They're more.
Well, I hope I got a leaf blower this year.
You got a turtleneck.
Unwrap the excitement this holiday season with great deals from Chewy.
Welcome back to Get Real America. Time once again to check in on what's going on in the skies and on the ground, the people that take care of us in the skies. And our good buddy Jay Ratliff, aviation analyst and expert, on the line here with us again, once again. And Jay, it looked like not only was a great Thanksgiving for most of us, but the TSA is confirming that this past Sunday was the busiest day ever in the history of air travel. Over, did I get this, nearly 3 million passengers?
That is correct. In fact, we always know the Sunday after Thanksgiving is the busiest travel day of the year.
Right.
We know the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is the second. But when they counted the numbers, the TSA on Monday said, "Hey, we just set a record. We not only had the most passengers for the year, we had the most passengers ever at 2,907,378."
Wow.
And Bill, what's significant even more about that is that you and I have talked about for the last year, shortage of pilots, hundreds of airplanes parked. So we have a record number of people traveling on far fewer flights.
Yeah.
And we didn't see the first picture or story of any long line, any airport meltdown on social media. The TSA knocked it out of the park with regards to making sure that everyone got screened quickly. They took care of everything. I received word from people around the country that day saying, I hate to jinx anything, but it's almost like any other day of the year. It's running smoothly. And I tell you, the airline that knocked it out of the park between the 17th of November and Monday is American Airlines. They had, I don't know, 60,000 flights. I think they canceled 55 of them. Most of those because of weather. They were absolutely knocking it out of the park. And they had a better operation week for that Super Bowl week for airlines than did Delta, Southwest, or any other carrier. They were clearly the best prepared and airline, and it showed. They may not be making the money that other airlines are making, but they did an incredible job. And look, every time they screw up, I mention it. So I've got to give them credit when they pull one out like they do here.
Sure. Wow. Is there anything that attributes to how well they did, and they could sit down and put out one of the videos that the other airlines could do? But they said, this is how you ought to do it.
Well, some people say, well, gee, they got a hub in Dallas. They had decent weather. Yeah, but they also have a hub in Chicago where we had a lot of bad weather on that Sunday. So I'll quickly throw that in. But, a lot of it just came down to they had the crews in place. They had a minimal number of delays. I know on Sunday, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, Delta had 20% of their flights delayed. United had 20% of theirs. Frontier, 38% of theirs. And there were delays like crazy. Now, even with that, Southwest, I think on that Sunday, even with all of those system delays, I think they only canceled one flight that day. So we came into the week worried, okay, is the weather going to mess us up? And it didn't, except for the last day. Are airlines going to have any, good Lord, computer issues that are going to cause everything to melt down? They did not. Would the TSA be in good hands? Would the air traffic controllers be well staffed so that they could keep things moving? And every single box was checked with regards to us having an incredibly impressive week. I can't remember the last time that we've had a Thanksgiving travel week with these numbers, because we had 30 million people or so flying over those 12 days with so few glitches. It was exceptional.
Well, that's good to know. I guess that going into the Christmas season, especially because, a lot of people are going to be traveling for that too.
That's our hope. We want to make sure that, we understand, of course, Thanksgiving is 12 days, and the Christmas break begins on the 15th of December on Friday and goes for 2.5 weeks. So it's over a longer period of time. And of course, the end of December is known for sometimes not the best of weather. So you're hoping that everybody's got all the de-icing fluid they need. They've got all of the staffing levels ready to go. Most of the time, they don't let employees take time off then as far as vacations, comp time, what have you, so they can have all hands on deck. And if we can nail the last 2 weeks of December, it allowed the airlines to make a good bit of profit without giving some of it back because of the delays and the weather problems. And we're hoping that's going to be the case, because I tell you, if right now airlines need as much as they can because we're seeing rising fuel prices and we're seeing the cost of labor go up for airlines as well. And because of those rising costs, they need as few delays and as many completed flights as they can, especially the low cost carriers, because they've seen the drop off in leisure travel and it's starting to impact their bottom line as well.
Right. Jay, I understand that South Korean Airlines is changing their in-flight announcements. What is it, pre-departure, to include a warning on trying to open aircraft doors? I didn't know this. And I'd heard some incidents about that, but I didn't know it become epidemic.
Mm-hmm. Tell you, it's so much so in South Korea, it's almost an Olympic sport, and
Really?
they've had so many people. Oh yeah, they've tried to open it up in the air, which you can't do, but it creates obvious panic. And several people that before the plane is parked or as it's taxiing or at the gate, they'll open up the exit and out they go. Now, currently, the law as it stands now in South Korea, you do that, and it's a mandatory jail sentence of 10 years.
Good
Now, I would
Lord.
think that by itself would be enough to get people to, behave themselves,
Yeah.
but they're actually planning, they're planning on incorporating in their pre-flight announcement, the briefing, the one that nobody listens to,
Yeah.
the idea that if you mess with the flight attendants, you try to open up one of these emergency exits, it's going to be something that's going to cost you a great deal of money and prison time. And they're hoping those announcements will cause people to, reconsider if they're planning on
Yeah.
going crazy.
Yeah.
Of course, it was what, Sunday night. I didn't mean to segue from crazy to this, but Sunday night we had the Southwest passenger that had a mental health episode aboard a Southwest flight. They're at the gate preparing for departure, and he goes out the wing exit and jumps off the wing or falls off, slides off, I don't know which, and ends up hurting himself. And he was taken to the hospital. The flight was delayed, of course, because they've got to get a mechanic to
Yeah.
come back in and put the door back in, sign off on it, make sure that the aircraft is ready to go. But I guess the good news is it didn't involve a slide where one of the galley doors was open, because that would have been a longer fix. Plus, you don't want that kind of a meltdown in the air. You want it so you can get the individual off the airplane. And right now, there's no charges yet filed. The FAA is yet to make a determination on any possible fines because they're going to wait for the end of the mental examination to kind of see what they're dealing with first.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What would motivate somebody normally just to, what makes the South Koreans so anxious to get off the plane?
I don't know. I mean, in one case, it was somebody that was being relocated and to a point where he was flying back to an area where I guess he was wanted by police and saw the police standing in the windows, because you can see the windows
Right.
outside the thing there. And
Yeah.
I guess at the gate, that's when he decided to go out the side exit when he was caught. Look, you remember years ago, we had a JetBlue pilot, or excuse me, JetBlue flight attendant that was so fed up with his job, he decided to quit on the job, and he opened up the emergency exit in the back of the aircraft, slid down the ramp, and walked away. That's how he gave his notice. I'm out of here, and away he went. So I know he later regretted it because he had to pay for the maintenance on that and was arrested, got fined. A lot of things bad happened.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, he had his 15 minutes of fame at a cost.
Wow. All righty. Well, any other wild and crazy stories that you have for us to wrap things up here?
Well, we did have the situation of the pilot that landed at the wrong airport.
Oh.
Missed it by 200 miles. So this happened in West Africa. There was a pilot on United Nigeria Airlines. It's a private airline, but they were flying their jet, and he landed, he and the first officer, and they land and they're taxiing into the airport. Flight attendants busy giving the welcome to blah, blah, blah announcement, the intended destination.
Right.
And when they parked, they realized, oops, we're at the wrong place. They missed the airport they were shooting for by 200 miles.
Good
The
God.
pilot comes over and says, it's not my fault. I was given the wrong flight path. And then later, the company came out with an announcement saying, oh, no, 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 that was a planned diversion because we had bad weather at the original destination. So I don't know which lie they're going to go with, but right now they're on different pages. But note to self, do not fly United Nigeria Airlines.
Oh, brother. All righty. Well, that's that's a good way to wrap it up today, and I appreciate it. Jay, stay in touch, and thanks. Safe travels. Come back to see us.
I appreciate it. Have a good day.
You too. God bless. We'll be right back.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance, with integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Glad to have you aboard this morning. And before we go any further, let me say we're making a couple of exceptions on our show today because of time and because of late breaking news. Travis Chance, who's normally on with us on Thursday to talk about finances, we'll have him on Monday and talk about your finances. Also, the second portion of the interview that I did with Bubba Hope on his new book, the former Savannah attorney, his book called Mob Island, about the Teamsters and the mob's involvement on Wilmington Island and specifically Savannah Inn and Country Club and some of the shenanigans that went on in those days. So that'll be on Monday as well.
Yes, so make sure you tune in. Lizzie Warren's with us this morning, and she says, cannot forget, Kissinger had a strong German influence and a different worldview. Mm-hmm. It seems like how they always get into our government somehow.
Yeah,
it's
the
really
Führer
strange.
would be pleased, yes. Mm-hmm.
Very, very strange. Big win, I think, for Trump. I think we're going to see this sham trial in New York definitely go away. There was testimony yesterday from the banker that says it's not unusual or atypical for any clients to provide financial statements to be adjusted to this level and to this extent, said the executive David Williams from the bank. He also said he personally went to Trump Tower in 2011 to review bank and brokerage statements to verify there was $51.8 million in marketable securities and also $178 million cash in balances. So the bank's not unhappy.
No, there's no victim here.
It's very strange.
The banks made money.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump made money.
Mm-hmm.
People got employed and hired.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they trying to destroy business up there? It's like when and they keep why you've reelected this witch, I have no idea, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez kept Amazon from coming into town because they were giving them like $3 billion in tax breaks and things of that nature. She was so dumb. This is a woman she got a degree from Boston University or Boston College. What is it? Which one is it? One of the Bostons. But they ought to take their diploma back.
Yeah.
And supposedly in finance. But she thought it was $3 billion they were just giving them to come in. No, you get $3 billion in tax breaks.
I'm pretty sure she has a business degree too, which also makes me like really cringe that she's able to just.
And
she
Brittany,
has no idea.
I remember several years ago where New York was doing a big national advertising campaign to get businesses to come to New York because you wouldn't have to pay taxes for 10 years,
Wow.
which is a blink of an eye in business. I mean, so, 10 years goes like that. But nevertheless,
that's when you start being profitable. That's the thing.
yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is that I said, okay, so they're so fond of raising taxes. They're so fond of taxes. So why are they offering an incentive not to pay taxes for 10 years to get people to come to the Empire State?
Maybe because doing business there is not fun. And they take all your money.
Yeah.
No one also wants to work in New York. I know a lot of people that will live, yes, just because they don't want to pay the New York City taxes.
So Rush Limbaugh left.
Yeah. So
he did his show from Florida for most of his career.
I don't blame him. It's beautiful there too.
We need a seance and get him back. Oh my gosh.
Yes, and Lizzie Warren says, so can we file charges against people who come before the Board of Equalization and assert a low value for their home? What's the difference?
Yeah, right.
That's a good point, Lizzie. And Mary McCann Hyber says they are desperately grasping at straws and will do anything to get rid of Trump. They absolutely will. Something that I also just heard was that AmFest is going to be in Arizona. Very exciting. Trump has not confirmed yet. Chris Christie didn't respond at all. Vivek will be there and a few other people. But Ron DeSantis has declined to go. The biggest podcasters and commentators are going to be at this conference in Arizona. It's a huge opportunity for him to go. I have no idea why he's not going. Why is he not running a real campaign bill? If he really wants to win, what is he doing?
I have no idea. He's got a debate coming up tonight with Gavin Newsom,
non-presidential candidate,
who is not running for president, so he says.
Well, what's interesting is that the qualifications happened in Georgia for the Democrat Party. There were 3 people listed, Joe Biden, and then 2 others that I'd never heard of. I probably should have pulled up their names, but no one that I knew of. So there's 3 people listed on the ballot. Gavin Newsom is not there, so I wonder how that will play out if they do try to replace Joe Biden with someone else. But very interesting stuff. One of the other things that I think is interesting is Elon Musk came out yesterday because they are blackmailing him, these advertisers, for him to start taking people. They want him to censor people is basically what it comes down to. You have a bunch of these advertisers taking their advertising away from Twitter, well, X, formerly known as Twitter. And he came out yesterday and said, you know what, screw you guys. You're not going to blackmail me. I'm not going to change my mind. People are allowed to have free speech. And he wanted to take from the river to the sea. He wanted that to be censored. He said, if people are going to say that on the platform, it's not allowed. It's genocidal. We're not doing it. That's when everyone decided they were going to pull their funding.
Yeah, isn't that interesting that we're supporting the terrorists?
Yep.
And tell that to our college students who are learning zero.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And by the way, if you see one of those cretins, ask them what river and what sea are they talking about, and evaluate that blank stare.
Yeah, they have no idea.
No,
they have no idea. And I don't know, Bill. It feels like we're winning, like small incremental wins. Rumble has also filed a federal lawsuit of defamation against a watchdog group. They're basically, I think that's speak for a political activism group that basically tries to censor everything and go after people's advertisers. But anyways, they're out of Florida, and so there was another lawsuit. So we have 3 lawsuits going against the media right now. Which
wouldn't be Media Matters, would it?
It's not Media Matters.
Okay.
It's a different watchdog group.
That's another bunch of communists.
It's an advertising group.
Oh, okay.
So that they are supposed to be helping people with their brand. So you don't want to be on Rumble's platform because of the things they say on there. You should not do it. It'll be bad for your brand.
Yeah.
But they print things. They lie.
What's this free speech stuff?
I don't know. I'm afraid that the children now have no idea what that means. So it's going to be interesting.
They don't.
No. And 2024 is going to get freaking wild. I think that we're going... And if you don't have a Twitter account, an X account, you should, because things are hilarious on there, and people can say whatever they want. So it's going to be a good time on Twitter. Lots of memes, I think, coming for 2024, and I don't know. I look forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's a 9-year-old boy that's being persecuted by the press
Yeah,
and getting
Deadspin.
egg on their face.
Yes. Made news a couple of days ago because this little boy decided to actually paint his face
Honor his
and put on
team.
a headdress, and they accused him of being a racist. You can see here the headline, and you can see this little boy from the side. But then there's actually a full-on picture, because from the side you can't really tell it's a little boy. You can't really
Right.
see the full, because they accused him of having blackface.
Yeah.
But you look at the front picture, which I think
Mhm.
we have that too.
Yeah.
You can see that half of his face is red and half of his face is black,
Just
which
like
are
they paint 'em-
Kansas City
just like they do at
Chiefs?
Georgia games. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it Kansas City
Yeah,
Chief colors?
black is one of the Kansas City Chiefs' official colors. They have 4 colors, and red, gold, white, black, and the full on shot of his face has him painted red and black, and the press wanted to use this. And where would
How
he
old
get
is he, Bill?
9?
So they're
And-
going after a 9-year-old. Think about that. These people are awful human beings.
And notice the headdress. This doesn't look like something you buy at Walmart.
No, it does not. It is.
This looks like the real. When I first saw this, I said, "That's the real genuine thing." It turns out who his dad and grandfather are and who he was honoring, because they are Indians, Native Americans. There you see the
There's the
full
frontal,
face. There's
yeah.
there's a full face shot.
He looks great. I love
think
it.
I do
love
too.
it. I love
I
it.
think it looks fantastic. They are members of a native tribe. His father is an Indian. His mom's not, but that neither here nor there. But dad and grandfather are members of a real Native American, which are not native, but they nevertheless, but they're real Indian tribe.
Yeah, they sit on a tribunal board, I believe,
Yeah,
and
dad does, and the grandfather is is really big into the tribal customs and culture.
well, and here's the other thing: Native Americans, most of them do not care about having, the naming of sports teams after them. It was actually like an honor at one point because
Yeah.
who wants to be named after a loser?
I
mean, really.
Right, yeah. The Redskins, they're now the Commanders.
Exciting.
They ought to call them the Carjackers. But the Redskins were named by the name came up from a guy who was an Indian. It was an honor. Are the Tigers complaining?
No, it's ridiculous, and I think a lot of people in the Native American community were not happy when all of this renaming started. They were like, "I don't care. Like, why are we doing this?"
Yeah. And by the way, why haven't the Kansas City Chiefs been forced to change their name, or the Chicago Blackhawks? Hello.
Not sure, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Really not sure.
Me either.
But they're moving on to a different topic.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's always more corruption coming out. And here's the thing. When you hear that there's corruption on the Biden family, do you know what other stories come out on top of that?
Trump stories?
No, UFO stories.
Oh,
it's
UFO.
amazing. If you look at the headlines, there's UFO stories. The second there's a Biden story out there.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting how they always do that. It's been the pattern.
Yeah. I think we have the UFOs landing now.
Yeah. Apparently so. I believe it's clip 9 that I'm looking for.
Yeah, but we're not John Solomon.
I'm not sure if we have it.
Yeah, well, love
Sorry
modern
about that,
technology.
guys.
But also, we're in the football realm. We have 3 of our teams locally that are going for state championships. They're going into the state semifinals this weekend, starting tomorrow. And Benedictine is one of them. They have a 24-game winning streak. It's interesting the parallel between the University of Georgia and BC right now. They both have long winning streaks into the 20s, and they're both going for three-peats.
I love it.
And so in the next segment, we're going to be
and it will be the first time ever that a team has been able to do this. So very exciting. I'm rooting for BC. Our friend David Tootle, who ran for county commissioner, actually coaches special teams there. And I believe this will be his last year. But
About to make history.
Yes, very exciting to be a part of that.
We'll be talking to some of the coach and a couple of the players coming up next. Stay real.
When you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, the experts at Best Business Brokers have you covered. Whether you're ready to cash in on your years of hard work or you're taking that first step in buying a business of your own, they're here to guide you through the process and make sure you get the best outcome possible. By having Best Business Brokers assist you when you buy a business or sell a business, they handle the legwork of the intricate process. This ensures a smooth transition of ownership, allowing you to get to work immediately or receive payment for your business as soon as possible. With base operations in Savannah and Charleston, they service all of Georgia and South Carolina. If you're considering starting a business here, the mild winters and 5-tiered economic areas make these the perfect places to do so. If you're ready to buy a business or sell a business, then you're ready to contact Best Business Brokers. Visit their website at b3brokers.com or call at 912-349-0940.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
We have 4 of our local teams that are going for state championships. So they're all in the semifinals this weekend. Coming up, we have Bryan County that's got their best record ever going to the semis tomorrow, as well as Calvary. They're going there as well, and also Savannah Christian. And then there's Benedictine that has had an outstanding run and getting ready to perhaps make history. Going for a three-peat. Had a chance to speak with Coach Danny Britt, a couple of the players, a couple of the stars are the quarterback Luke Kromanek, who's headed it to Florida State, and also to Bryce Baker, who's one of their linebackers and running backs, at practice yesterday, and talked first of all with Coach Danny Britt about the upcoming events and how he feels about the team this year and why they got this far in the first place.
Well, Coach, here we are again. Almost time for a three-peat.
Yeah, we're excited. We certainly haven't been talking about that. You know, that's for everybody else to talk about. What we're just trying to do is get there and win this game Friday night.
It seems to me that all the teams that have the better records are the ones that are going on the road. How do you explain? Is that part of GHSA?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the record or the state ranking or anything. It has to do with the region.
Okay.
And if you both are number ones, then it's decided by a universal coin flip, and just where you fall in the bracket.
Mm-hmm. What surprised you about this team this year?
You know, not a lot of surprise, to be honest with you. I felt like we could be really good. A lot of these guys have played a ton of football, won a lot of football games, been in a lot of big-time stadiums, big-time games. So felt like we could be good. You know, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. We hadn't always played, you know, as well as I wanted to. Hadn't started fast yet, really, to be honest with you. But maybe Friday night would be the first time we start fast.
Hard to complain about perfection, though, isn't it? I mean,
it is. It's hard. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. It's just we're going to try to be the best we can be.
What have you seen as far as the team growth this year? What's impressed you the most?
You know, I think they really have come together. I think probably about halfway, maybe three-quarters way through the year, we were feeling a lot of pressure and you know, wanting practicing or performing as well, because we were just, you know, worried about the end result. And we came together, and the seniors came together and just decided to have fun, enjoy practice, enjoy being together, and they played really well ever since.
What developed them best during the season? Who really began to stand out to you that was really putting forth the effort?
You know, I think the defensive front seven has just really, we knew they could be good, but really come along and has been playing really well. Offensively, the offensive line and the backs have really, we knew we had some receivers, we knew we had Luke that could throw it, but the running game has developed as we've gone.
One of the things that the paper made great capital effect of was that you gave the kids a real good pep talk that seemed to get them inspired for last Friday night's game as being their last game at Memorial Stadium for the seniors and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you think about those things. I just try to be real with them. I'm not, certainly never been accused of being the smartest guy or anything, and I never try to trick them or play mind games with them. Just talk to them very real, and I'm passionate about the game, and hopefully it rubs off on them.
What do you look for as far as Friday night goes? What do we know about this crowd?
The Stockbridge, we played them last year in the quarterfinals. They're a very athletic team, big, well coached. It's a good program. So it's going to be a big challenge for us to go up there and certainly play in the semifinals. We expect a nice atmosphere. So we're excited. We just got to go play our game.
Well, there are a few schools that have the tradition that you guys have and the alumni support that the BC has. That has to give you a good feeling, too. You'll have a big crowd following you.
Yeah, obviously, from what I understand, they've already filled 2 or 3 charter buses of fans. And so we'll have a good crowd, and it'll be fun, and we always do.
All right. Well, good luck, Coach. I sure do appreciate it, and thanks for everything that you've done for us. And I know these kids are going to live. This will be for the rest of their lives one of those great experiences. Is there another game after this? Is this the championship, or what happened?
No, this is the semifinals,
Okay.
and if we win this, then you go on to play in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and the next week.
Hope to see you there.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Tell everybody who you are.
I'm Luke Romanok, the quarterback at Benedictine Military School.
Yeah. Spell that last name for me, Luke.
Kromenhoek.
What is the origin of that?
To be honest with you, I'm not quite sure. I think it's a little bit of German.
Okay, yeah,
Yes, sir.
It sounds a little German, Slavic, something like
Yes,
that.
sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, Luke, how have you've got a great career finishing up here at BC. How do you feel? This is kind of a crowning achievement for you.
Yes, sir. I feel great. All the years that we put in this work to lead up to this moment, and we have the opportunity to go out and hopefully go out on state champs, and that's what we're working forward to. So I'm super excited.
What's been the most things that have impressed you about this team this year?
Just our will to win. We could be down going into halftime, and we just come out ready to get back on there and go back out there and just do everything we can to win. We got dudes playing both ways, which isn't easy, and it really just speaks volumes about how this team wants to win.
Well, I think that shows your maturity as well.
Yes, sir.
What is the? I know you've got, of course, a big game coming up on Friday night. You've played these guys before. What do you know about them? How do you feel?
Yes, sir. They're a great team. They played us very, very well last year in the Elite Eight, and now we just happen to see them again in the Final Four. We're expecting a physical game with a lot of hard hits coming in, and it's just really a lot of physical.
I know you're heading off to Florida State, and best of luck. We'll be out there doing the chop for you. But what is have you noticed the amazing similarity between you guys and the University of Georgia with the long winning streak and both going for three-peats?
Yes, sir. It's hard because everyone around here is Georgia fans, so having to root against the Bulldogs, I get a lot of hate for it, but my Noles have done pretty well for themselves.
What's the most fun playing here?
It's just the family aspect of it, just being able to come out here with all my friends, which I've grown up with since I was playing 6U ball with the Dogs, and kind of just going through middle school and now here playing with all of them. It's awesome just to see where everybody's at and that I'm getting to play alongside them.
Well, you know how legendary BC is, and you've got this great fan alumni base, and it looks like, I think Coach was telling me, you got at least 3 charter buses already to go to the game for you.
Yes, sir. It just speaks volumes about what type of school Benedictine is and how it's rich in tradition and history, and how everyone's always there for everybody, no matter what sport it is. And anytime we travel, we always have a ton of fans coming out and showing love, which is awesome.
How do you think you've improved this season?
Definitely more experience under the belt, so I've been able to make reads quicker and kind of just stayed more comfortable in the pocket.
Well, good luck to you. Stay healthy, and we'll see you in the championship.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Luke. All right, Bryce, tell everybody who you are.
I'm Bryce Baker. I play running back and linebacker for Benedictine Military School.
And what year are you now, Bryce?
It's class of 2024.
All right. Well, here we are. Do you realize how closely you and Georgia are paralleled here with this long winning streak and going for a three-peat and all that? Does that ever go through your mind?
Sometimes I think about it when I watch Georgia play.
Yeah. What? Tell me about the team this year. How have you come along? You know, that they always say that getting to the top is easier than staying there.
That's true. Matter of fact, it's very challenging. We have a lot of stars here, a lot of great players around here, and we're very hungry this year to win and complete our goal.
How did this team develop this year? Because sometimes you get that attitude. You know, okay, we've been champions twice now. Nobody can beat us.
Since day one, Coach Britt let us know. He was like, last year was last year. This year's a new year. So erase all that out your head, and we're going for another one.
Yeah. How have you seen the team improve this year?
How?
Yeah. When you first got started.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So the attitude started to change. Like as soon as we got into region play, the attitude started to change. Everybody started working hard.
How do you feel?
Faster and faster.
Yeah. How do you feel you've developed?
I developed as a leader, most at its highest. Not doing by action, but leading by my words.
Well, you're playing an opponent you are a little bit familiar with. Sometimes in these playoffs, you play a team you've never played before, but that's not the case here.
Yes, sir. Can you just pause that? All right.
That's all right. That's why we can edit.
Yes, sir. You can repeat that question for me.
Oh, sure. You've sometimes when you get into the playoffs, you'll play a team that you've never played before. You know anything about them except on films and what you've read. But you've played this team before, basically. You played them in the playoffs last year, I think.
Yes, sir. Coming into this game, we've seen this team last year in the Elite Eight, and we played there. We play there this year too. So they're gonna want to beat us this year, and definitely if you beat us, they go to the championship.
Of course,
we can't let that happen.
Don't let it happen,
yes,
and we'll be pulling for you all the way, Bryce.
Yes,
thanks.
Sir.
All right.
Thank you.
And do you spell Bryce with a I or a Y?
Y, please.
Y. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, I want to thank Coach Danny Britt for being so welcoming and as always, and for the players there. And notice how eloquent they are. These kids are getting a great education, and what a great fan base that they have because of the tradition here. Like you said, they've got at least 2 charter buses full, and maybe filling up a third one. And Stockbridge, that they're going to be playing Stockbridge, and that's up near Atlanta. So it's not exactly just a really quick road trip. This is a long trip for them. Congratulations also to Calvary. They are in the semifinals tomorrow against Cedar Grove, and going against Stockbridge is like we said. Stockbridge is Benedictine. Did I call them Stockbridge? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Yep. Wasn't sure I said that. Carver Columbus is the one that Savannah Christian is taking on tomorrow. All teams on the road. With the teams with the best records are on the road, with the exception of Bryan County. They are going against the top-rated Prince Avenue Christian tomorrow as well. So good luck to all of our teams, and I hope to do more of this next week and talking to the teams about their trip to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium to play for the state championship in Benedictine, going for an unprecedented 3rd in a row. Good luck to the cadets.
I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him.
We
Where men are made. At Benedictine. Yeah. That should be their motto. Love it. And, that's pretty much going to wrap us for the weekend. I think we are winning. I don't know if everyone's going to watch the debate with Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom. I haven't really decided, but I will be watching some clips, if nothing else.
We'll have some lowlights and highlights for you on Monday as we begin the month of December. And by the way, when I was out at BC yesterday, it's the first time that I have seen that new facilities that they built there, and they've got a beautiful, beautiful field. It's nice that of the state that most of the schools now are building their own stadiums. When I was working in Charleston, just about every high school had its own stadium.
We do in Utah. This is weird to me that they didn't,
but at any rate, instead of sharing a stadium with a bunch of teams. But one of the things that they named this facility for was a favorite of mine over the years and covering BC, as they've dedicated it to Father Albert, who died of cancer back in 2003. Father Albert Biggerstaff was a beloved teacher there for about over 20 years.
Wow.
When he was taken from us way too soon at the age of 63.
Wow.
And he was just a terrific, terrific gentleman. One of the things that impressed me about him, Brittany, was I was on the sidelines when I was covering high school sports and television here. And there was an opponent that they were playing, and they weren't exactly, shall we say, playing clean football. He kept getting penalized a lot. And he said something that was I agreed with, but it was a little naughty. And I just laughed, and I looked at it. I said, "Yeah," I said, "not a very priestly thing to say, but I agree with you." About 3 days later, he called me and apologized. He said, "I got to thinking about what you said, and he said, I thank you for calling me out on that." And I was, wow. So, Father Albert, go with God, and I know you did. But it's just the tradition that you see there. I wish more of our schools would do that. You see all
that's
these.
why your kids probably shouldn't be in public schools. They should be in private schools.
Well, and it doesn't matter. But I always was amused by these people say, "I'm a big fan," as long as their kid was playing there. After their kid graduated, they were they vanished. So, hey, continue to support your school, okay? Come on out.
Well, I think also people move on to other chapters when especially when your kids play sports. I think it takes over your life. I know it took over my mother's life. She never missed dance competition. It was Saturdays, it was weekends, and we were 12 months a year. We did not have a break in dance. So
exactly.
It does take over your lives, and my mom does not go to drill team competitions anymore.
So, oh, darn. Okay.
Weird how that works.
Maybe a little different.
Yeah.
But
well, I think you move on from things.
Principle.
Yeah, you move on from things. For sure. So different chapters, but hopefully we have some big ones to talk about on Monday.
Mm-hmm. So enjoy your weekend, and we will see you as we get ready for the month of December and head down the home stretch to Christmas.
Yes.
Stay
have
well.
A good weekend.
And stay real.